Sutta number 5.8.73. Now a certain monk visited the Exalted One, saluted him, and sat down at one side. So seated, he said to the Exalted One, "Lord, they say, living by Dhamma, living by Dhamma. Lord, how does a monk live by Dhamma?" Just stop here just to say this word Lord actually is a translation of the word Bhante. During the Buddha's time, the monks called each other Avuso, reverend or friend, and only the Buddha was called the Bhante. But later, when the Buddha was about to pass into Mahaparinibbana, he instructed the junior monks to call the senior monks Bhante, and that the senior monks could call the junior monks Avuso, reverend or friend, or just by their name. Then the Buddha replied, "Monk, consider the monk who masters Dhamma. He spends the day in that mastery. He neglects to go apart and devotes not himself to tranquilization of the mind, ceto samatha. Monk, that monk is said to be swift to master, but he lives not by Dhamma. Again, consider the monk who teaches others Dhamma in detail, as he has heard it, as he has mastered it. He spends the day in convincing others of Dhamma. He neglects to go apart and devotes not himself to tranquilization of the mind. Monk, that monk is said to be swift to convince, but he lives not by Dhamma. Again, consider the monk who gives in full a repetition of Dhamma, as he has heard it, as he has learned it. He spends the day in repeating it. He neglects to go apart and devotes not himself to tranquilization of the mind. Monk, that monk is said to be swift to repeat, but he lives not by Dhamma. Then consider the monk who turns his mind to Dhamma, ponders over it, reflects on it, as he has heard it, as he has learned it. He spends his day in thinking about Dhamma. He neglects to go apart and devotes not himself to tranquilization of the mind. Monk, that monk is said to be swift to think, but he lives not by Dhamma. But monk, take the case of the monk who masters Dhamma and spends not the day in that mastery, neglects not to go apart and devotes himself to tranquilization of the mind. Verily, monk, such a monk is one who lives by Dhamma. Monk, thus verily have I declared one swift to master, one swift to convince, one swift to repeat, one swift to think, and one who lives by Dhamma. Monk, what should be done by a teacher for his disciples, seeking their good, from compassion and out of pity, that has been done by me for you. Behold these 3 roots, these empty places, monk. Cultivate jhana, monk, and be not slothful. Reproach not yourself afterwards. This is our command to you." That's the end of the sutta. Here the Buddha is saying that studying the suttas, teaching, repeating, and reflecting on the suttas or Dhamma are important. But if one does not practice ceto samatha, tranquilization of the mind, one does not live by Dhamma. That means, although the monk does the other duties, he must devote himself some time to tranquilization of the mind. This word ceto samatha, ceto comes from the word citta, the mind. Samatha is tranquilization. So you find that in the suttas, samatha practice is very much a part of the Buddhist meditation, and in addition to vipassana. But if you look into the suttas, more often than not, the word samatha is stressed more than vipassana. Because samatha, tranquilization of the mind, is the partner where we get rid of the hindrances. And you have heard the suttas before that the Buddha said that the hindrances is that which prevents us from getting insight. So we have to cultivate samatha to get the insight. And both samatha and vipassana are part and parcel of Buddhist meditation. You've also heard previously one of the suttas that Buddha said that when we attain the samadhi, the hindrances are restrained without a conscious effort, and then one gets to see things as they really are. And the last part of the sutta, the Buddha said, he told his monks to cultivate jhana. The word here is jayati or jayata, and it means to cultivate jhana. So sometimes translators translate this as meditate, but the literal meaning is to cultivate jhana. That is why when Buddhism went to China, the meditation school was called the Chan Chung, the Chan school. And that word Chan comes from the word Chan No, and Chan No is actually from the word jhana. So in the early days, meditation was synonymous with cultivating jhana. That's why the Buddha here says told his monks to cultivate jhana. And this sutta is quite an important sutta because a monk can get caught up with many duties and activities. And that is one of the hindrances to the holy life. You see later there are others like talking, sleeping, etc. So we are saying that a monk can get caught up with many duties and activities, and that is one of the hindrances to the holy life. And so a good monastery should have minimum hours of group sitting for everyone. .16.155 Monks, these 5 things lead to the confounding, the disappearance of true Dhamma, Sat Dhamma. What 5? Herein, monks, the monks master not Dhamma. This, monks, is the first thing that leads to the confounding, the disappearance of Sat Dhamma. Secondly, they teach not others Dhamma in detail, as heard, as learned. This, monks, is the second thing. Thirdly, they make not others speak it in detail, as heard, as learned. This, monks, is the third thing. They make no repetition of it in detail, as heard, as learned. This, monks, is the fourth thing. Again, monks, the monks do not in their hearts turn over and ponder upon Dhamma. They review it not in their minds. This, monks, is the fifth thing that leads to the confounding, the disappearance of Sat Dhamma. Monks, these are the 5 things that lead to the confounding, the disappearance of Sat Dhamma. So these are the conditions that cause the disappearance of the true Dhamma. Earlier, I think you remember I mentioned another sutta also in the chapter of the Force, that conditions that cause the disappearance of the true Dhamma. One is that the monks are stubborn, they don't want to train in the training, and other conditions. That sutta was Anguttara Nikaya 4.160. This is another sutta. There's another one also in the Samyutta Nikaya 16.13. So this sutta, the first condition is that the monks do not master Dhamma. They don't take the trouble to study the suttas, because in the Anguttara Nikaya 4.180, the Buddha said Dhamma refers to the suttas, the original discourses of the Buddha and the four Nikayas. So if a monk does not master the suttas, he will find it hard to differentiate between the true Dhamma and the false Dhamma, because there's such a thing as false Dhamma mentioned in the Samyutta Nikaya 16.13. So the first thing is important for a monk to master the suttas. The second one, they do not teach others the suttas, the Dhamma in detail. That's the second one, they do not teach the suttas. The third one, they do not make others speak it in detail. That means their disciples, because in the days of the Buddha, they didn't have books. So to prolong the life of the Dhamma, they had to recite it and carry it on from generation to generation, so that they had to train the younger monks to speak it, to recite it, to memorize it. So this is the third condition. If they do not make others speak it in detail, that means memorize it. The fourth one, they make no repetition of it in detail, as heard, as learned. This one is the monks themselves, the senior monks, they do not repeat it. This is by repeating it that they memorize it, and also they understand it better. If you remember, this is one of the ways that a person attains Aryahood. Then the fifth one, they do not reflect and ponder over the Dhamma that they have learned. This is the fifth thing that leads to the disappearance, because by reflecting and pondering over Dhamma, we come to understand it better. So, this is another condition for the attaining of Aryahood. If you remember, one of the earlier suttas mentioned that the 5 ways of attaining Aryahood is learning the Dhamma. The second one is teaching the Dhamma. Third one is repeating the Dhamma. Fourth one is reflecting upon Dhamma. The fifth one is during meditation. These are the 5 times person attains Aryahood. So here these are the conditions. If we want to prolong the Dhamma, the first one is applicable to us now. We should master the Dhamma, master the suttas. Because if we take no interest in the suttas, it will cause the suttas to disappear. That was already warned by the Buddha. And then we should teach the Dhamma also. As we know the Dhamma, so we should teach it to others. The third one is not quite applicable now, to make others speak it in detail, because we have it all written down in books. The fourth one, repeating it. This, if we have the interest and the inclination, it's good to repeat the suttas as we know them. The fifth one is to ponder over the suttas. This one is quite important. Whatever suttas, whatever Dhamma we hear, we should reflect on it and try to understand it better.